Hey listeners, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you my flawless foundation routine that I've really been loving lately. So if you're interested in a long-lasting full coverage foundation routine, then just keep watching. Okay, so I already moisturized my face. That's step one. Go ahead and moisturize your face. If you don't have time to wait 15 minutes, which I recommend at least waiting 15 minutes, put your moisturizer on first, do your hair, get dressed, then do your makeup. Or if that still doesn't work for you, get a paper towel and just dab off the excess. You don't want the moisturizer to still be wet on your face. It's just, in my opinion, it's just going to ruin the look because I've had that happen to me before. But personal preference, all up to you. Next step I'm going to go in with is primer. So the reason you use primer is to pretty much set the base of your face. So it's kind of like a little layer, a protective layer, as you say, like that smoother effect and make the makeup last longer. So what I've been using is the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. Now I hear this is good for all skin types. I have dry skin and it's really been working for me. You can use any primer. I do recommend using a primer though. For some reason, whenever I don't use a primer, it flakes off and the foundation comes off so easy. Now if you see, I am pressing this into my skin and then I'm taking the rest and just kind of like lotion, but you're pressing it into your pores with your fingers to really get it in there. Okay. So kind of let that sit a second, and then while that's sitting, my next step is to correct. Now, normally for the red areas, I would go in with a green corrector, but today I'm only going to correct if you see, I have the dark circles under my eyes and kind of like the bags. So when you want to cancel out the darkness, you use the orange color corrector. So I'm just going to go ahead and, oh sorry, this is the LA Girl Pro Concealer in orange. I got this at CVS. It's literally only like a couple dollars, I think like $5. And I just put it where I have the darkness. I don't put too much in. I just put it like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to use the foundation brush I'm going to be using, and this is the Morphe 439 brush. And I'm just going to kind of blend that in. It's going to look crazy, but remember you're putting foundation and concealer over it. So that's going to cover it. So I take the brush and then I also take a sponge. I'm going to use my beauty blender and I'm just going to take the pointy end and I'm just going to press it in just to make it smooth, because I don't want too much product under the eye because I have very dry skin, like I said. You're going to hear me say that like a million times. But I don't want it to get cakey under my eyes. All right, so once you've color corrected, I'm just going to wipe off my foundation brush because I'm going to go in with that same brush. You can just wipe it off with a tissue or, not tissue, a paper towel or a washcloth, or they actually make, what I'm using is, I'm using one of these. I got this at Five Below, but you can get them anywhere. And it just cleans the brushes in between and then you just wash it. So, but that's for another video. So next I'm going to go in with foundation. Now I know what you're going to say. My foundation routine is a little much, but you don't have to use the same products I'm using. I've found that if I want to say like go to a wedding or go like, I don't know, Christmas party, dinner party, somewhere where the face lasts all day long, this is what I use. I have other favorite foundations that I use that look great. I just, this is what I've been using recently. I don't use it every day though, because it is a lot. So I'll actually do a favorites video in another video, because there are a lot of favorite foundations that I have. I'm gonna go in with the Hourglass foundation in the shade Ivory. And it's a little dark for my skin tone, but that's okay because I only use it in a few spots. I pretty much, you saw how I just did that. And I like to use this one because it's very full coverage. There's a reason for my madness on why I use 3 foundations. Each one does a different thing. They just help in different ways, and mixing them together makes my perfect concoction. So I love it. So that was the Hourglass. I'm gonna go in with the Dior Forever. And I actually saw Jaclyn Hill do this combination. She has dry skin, and I thought, I'm so desperate. My skin is so dry. It's just nothing's working. So I tried this combination, but it just wasn't enough because I wanted that all day effect. And it just wasn't enough. So my next foundation, I'll show you what I do. So I take 2 pumps, not even a full 2 pumps of the Dior foundation. And then I take 1 pump of the Lancôme Teint Idole. So I take 1 pump of that, and the reason for that is the Lancôme is more like all day wear. I believe it's 24-hour. Yes, up to 24-hour color wear. So I take this and I pat it in stippling motions. Stippling means to kind of bounce it. And then I kind of swirl it like a circle, but I only do the first half of my face, and then I get more product. If it gets in your hair, don't worry, you can just use a makeup wipe. It's not the end of the world. I like to get my ears so they match, and I go down my neck. Now, this does look like not the smoothest yet, but that's because I'm gonna go in with a sponge after. Some people just avoid the brush altogether. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is the M439 brush by Morphe. I really like this brush a lot. All right, I'm gonna go in with, 2 pumps Dior and a pump of Lancôme. And I just kind of stipple that in, blend it all together. Yeah, paint your earrings, that's great. I even like to get in the corners. I don't go all over my eye though, because I'm going to use an eye primer. And I'm actually doing a video after this on an eye look, but I don't know which one I'm putting up first. I think I'm going to put up the eye look first. So stay tuned. All right. Now that that's all mixed in, I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. I have the beauty blender, and then I have the Real Technique sponge. I like the flat surface of the Real Technique sponge, especially for pressing the foundation in. All right. So once that's all done, I'm going to put on my cream contour. All I'm doing for this is I'm taking a concealer. So what you want to do is take a concealer that's about 2 shades, I guess 2 or 3 shades darker than your normal color. So I'm using 2 different brands, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you'll see. This is what I conceal with. This is what I contour with. I'm using the Too Faced Conceal, Contour, Highlight, and Retouch in the shade Honey. And I'm literally using the smallest amount. This stuff is like so insane. So what you want to do is you want to go in, turn face sideways, and just put dots in the areas under your cheekbones. So you want to contour right under where your cheekbones are in this area, but you don't want to go all the way down to your mouth, because then it'll get, it's just not the look you're gonna want. Trust me, if you want to do it. That's great. That's the thing with makeup, you could do whatever you want to do, but basically you want like this right here, and you just, I'm taking a G40 brush by Morphe, and I just do spirally motions. That's it. It blends really nicely. I don't go all around though. You want to stay in that area. And then I'll take whatever's left on my brush and just go on top, bottom. We're gonna powder contour with bronzer later, but right now I just want to do a little bit of a cream base. Okay, next I'm going to go in with my concealer. The reason I did the cream contour first, because I didn't want the concealer sitting for too long and get all cakey before I do the powder. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to kind of, I don't do the triangle that everybody does because I don't want that much product, but I kind of put it up where I still have some darkness peeking through, and I just do that, just little wipes. I also do, this is all the same pump, this, and I just put it in the areas that need to be covered. I'm gonna go in. My face is really acting up lately. I think it's because the weather's getting colder and my dry skin just is like not having it. But I'm gonna go in with the same brush I used for my foundation. I like doing this because it gives a nice gradual blend, and I just do circular motions. I'm saving my eyes for last. Now this, circular motions, and then little slides, gentle slides. Don't tug too hard on your face. You don't want wrinkles. Or if you do, hey, more power to you. Okay. I'm just going to do that. Now I'm going to go in with a sponge and I'm going to press it. Just like we did with the foundation. And the reason I use the sponge to press it is I feel like it just gives it a smoother look. I just really like that look. And again, don't worry about the hairline. I'm going to get that later with a wipe. Okay, so that's done. We're ready to powder. I'm going to use my Hourglass Mineral Veil powder. Now what I do, this end I use to go and look up. Make sure to look up. And I'm going to dab it and make sure that there's no creases. And then, no, I'm going to have to do that again because I looked down. But get your powder on the pointy end. On the flat end, or if you're using the egg end, you're going to press under your eye and you'll use the pointy end to use the powder. So you're going to look up, take the flat end or the rounded end and just look up and get it all blended, and then switch it around and put the powder to set. Now, if you have dry skin, don't put too much powder. If you have oily skin, feel free to bake. I can't bake. It's because my eyes, my eyes just don't cooperate with baking. I will bake in different areas of my face at times. My skin is just too dry for that. All right, so I'm just gonna do that. Get more powder. Keep looking up. Now, I am 33, so I can't, no matter how much I wanna blend, 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 I do have the under eye lines. But you know what? Love yourself. Okay, so I did that. Now, the reason I like this powder is because, are we gonna count how many times I say dry skin in this video? Because I feel like it's gonna be a lot. Because it's the best for my dry skin. It feels like air. And I put it in all the dry areas. Now, I'm gonna be excessive and use another powder. And again, like the foundations, the powders I use for different purposes. So I just press it. Don't worry if there's white powder all over, because you're just gonna brush it away with a brush, but we're taking it step by step. So I'm done with that powder, and then I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Butter Powder, Pro Filter Butter Powder. Well, shade butter. It has a unique smell, but hey, this will cover your pores. So what I do is I take it on the pointed edge, and just where I have my large pores on my cheek, I'll go like that. Just there, nowhere else, because this powder, for me, it's just, it's too drying. If you have oily skin, it's perfect for you. But that's why I like, for the rest of my face, I like to use the Hourglass loose powder, and then I go in with the Charlotte Tilbury, which is what I'm using next, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in the shade 1 to finish it off. I'm going to go ahead and take my Eco Tools, no, there's nothing on this, to dust away the powder. And then I'm going to take, I'm sorry, I don't know what that Eco Tools brush is called, but it's just like domed. You could really use any powder brush to dust it away, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use the Morphe E1 brush. I like how it's flat and it's dense. So I just do 1, 2 like that. Kind of, I don't want too much. I just kind of tap off the excess and I just do swirls. And I make that one little bit count for the whole face because I don't want so much powder on, and I put a lot of powder on. So I'll show you what I do next. Now, take that clean brush again and just go over it. Make sure it's all, no excess powder. Press your face, make sure there's no tacky areas. If you have tacky areas, go in with a little more powder or whatever's left on that sponge and do that. Now, we're not done, but we're gonna set it, and it's gonna make it all melt together. So I'm gonna take the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. You can use any setting spray you want, but I like this one because of the way it sprays. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it sprays like a hairspray, but not so forceful. It's just a light mist, and I'm just gonna spray. Feels so great, and it makes your face just look flawless. And then I just take anything and fan it off. Okay. You want to let that dry. You don't want it to be fully soaking wet. Okay. Moving on. All right, so then next, my next step is to contour. I'm just gonna go through this fast. I take a MAC, I think this is 109. It's been I've had this for a long time. It's my favorite. And I just kind of follow that line. And like Kim Kardashian says, you do a 3. So I just take a little bit. Oh, I'm using the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. I broke the lid. I have it right here. I just have to tape it on. And a 3. And what I do is I follow that same, your cheek, like under your cheekbone. You follow that, and I kind of swoop because I like to give that gradual blend. And you just want to do circular motions after the product is off. When you're initially putting the product on, you just want to kind of go in the area you want. And again, don't go all the way down to the corners of your mouth. Or do, it's up to you. And then I take some, put some down my neck and under my chin. And then Morphe R33. And I'm just going to contour my nose. So what you do is follow the shape of your nose. There's the center, and then you see like the 2 outside areas. I guess like the end of your nostril, like the tip here going up, that's where I draw the line. So I just kind of follow it. Every nose shape is different, so follow. Basically, when you're contouring, and I could do a separate contour video, that's why I'm not going too in with this. You're doing this to kind of make things appear smaller. So I want my nose to look smaller, but I want my lip, base of my lip to look bigger, so I put it under here so that it looks like it's creating a shadow. And then I'm just going to blend it downward. Okay. I'm going to go in with blush next. I'm using the Jouer Bouquet d'Amour. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but I'm just using that palette. I'm going in, I broke a shade. I'm so sad. I'm using the shade Adore Me. And I'm using the E4 brush. And it's, if you see, it's angled. So I'm going to take the angle on my cheekbone, kind of give a little smirk, and pull it upwards towards the ear. I don't start right over here. I start more at the cheekbone and work my way back. I like this blush a lot. And then what I like to do is I like to take that loose brush with nothing on it and just kind of mix it together. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight. Now I'm using something that's not available anymore, and I'm heartbroken, but I'm highlighting with the Anastasia Beverly Hills. Oh wait, no we're not. We're not highlighting. I forgot a step. We're using the KKW Beauty Brighten powder in the shade 1, and I'm going to take Sigma F35 tapered highlighter brush, and I'm just going to pack that in, take it in the corner, and kind of go in the corner of my eye just to brighten up that area. Brighten up the under eye. I also put a little bit here, a little bit here. Okay, and then I take my Sigma F10 and my NYX HD finishing powder in Banana, and I just put a little bit underneath where I contoured. I feel like this just gives a nice smooth finish. And a little bit over here. I just take the rest and just go over like that. All right. So finally time for highlight, and then I'm going to do my eyes off of camera and I will come back. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole Guerrero palette. Can't get this. I wish we could. So Anastasia Beverly Hills, if by some chance you see this video, which would be amazing, yeah, please bring this back because it's amazing. And I had it for like a week. I think when it first came out, I had it about a week. And then I dropped it, and yeah, this shade I barely ever had a chance to use. This shade I can only use the edges. And this I actually hit pan on. I use this all the time. So yeah, I cracked 2 of them and it broke my heart. All right, I gotta get my highlighting brush. Okay, found it, sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. And I like, this is the best highlighter brush I've ever used. It has basically like, it's tapered at the top, but it's also like flat. So I literally just lay it. I'm going to use 143. I just lay it on, tap a little bit, and I go at the top of my cheekbone. Right here is where you want to highlight. You don't want to go all the way down either. Just a little bit. Right where the sun would hit your face. And I could do a more detailed video on these. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight quick. Do a little on my nose, my lip, under here. All right. If it's too chunky for your liking, you could go in and go over it with a sponge. But I like highlight. So that's it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set my face one more time. I also go over it with the Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. Final step, I use the Morphe, let it sit for like a second, and then I take this. Now this will let it last all day long. This or Urban Decay All Nighter, and you're just gonna make a T. Well, I made my T a little different. And then you make your X. Don't get too close to your face. Air it off. All right, I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with the final look, and I did my lashes. I put my lipstick on. If you watched my video before this, which depends on when I filmed 2 videos today. Depends on which one I decided to put on first. So if you watched my Tati beauty video, then you'll know what I used on my eyes and my lips. I'll also link it down below, but thank you for watching. I hope this was somewhat helpful, and if you have any other ideas, questions, comments, leave it in the comments down below. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thanks. Don't let anyone dull your sparkle. Thanks. Bye, guys.